Okay, milk, eggs, butter, bread flour, sugar, gluten, poppy seeds, salt, and yeast. Yep. Now you cooperate this time. Good morning, YouTube friends and family. Welcome to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So today we are going to make some bread because not only am I out of bread, I'm out of crackers. So sometimes you need to get busy and get some things made and on the shelf for convenience. I'm sure as you can see behind me, I finished painting the kitchen. I am super tickled with how it came out. I'm still working on the decor. I don't have any curtains up. Yeah, I still have things to do, but stay tuned because in a future video, I will have an update and show you some of the little touches I decided to do. But what are we going to do today? Well, I have my handy dandy Zoji Rushi bread machine. Here's the pan. And one of the things I really love about this machine, y'all, and I will make sure and leave it in a link in the description box below. First of all, it's a workhorse in its native language. Is it Japanese? I think it's Japanese. It means elephant. And if you look at the bread machine, there's a little elephant on there. So anyway, it is truly a workhorse. And I like that you can have horizontal loaves of bread instead of the tall ones, which you could still turn on their sides, I guess. Wasn't such a big deal, but I like the horizontal version. So I had shared in an earlier video that I wanted cinnamon raisin bread, but after I rethought it, I thought, no, I really need a savory bread because I don't always want sweets in the morning. So what do I have on hand that kind of needs to be used up, A, and B, what sounds good? And I am using, and again, I'll link it, the Bread Lovers Bread Machine Cookbook. Y'all, this just has so many recipes in it, and I know my onion bread looked like kind of a flop, but I have to tell you, it was very tasty. I think it was maybe my onions were a little too wet, and that's why it was so dense, but it was still good. All right, so this says, this loaf with all white flour rises so dramatically that one set of proportions work best in either size machine. So it usually gives up 1.5 and a 2-pound recipe. It's very much like regular challah, but made with dairy products, and the poppy seeds are distributed throughout rather than sitting on top of it, so it ends up cake-like. Serve with a savory butter for dinner, jam for breakfast and brunch. So here we go. What needs to be put in? Well, y'all, I see I need to wash my pan a little better. So let me do that first. I'll come right back. Stay tuned. Y'all ever have one of those days where everything you touch goes That would be me today. Oh, there's an onion from our last loaf of bread. Okay, so here's what happened. I had this really cute measuring cup. It's wet with strawberries on it, and I was like, oh good, I'll use that. Well, the measurements are only in milliliters, which I thought, no problem, I'm a nurse. 30 milliliters or cc's in an ounce. Well, the cup doesn't have a pour spout on it either, so I think it's for looking, not for using. And another interesting thing is when I poured it from one cup into the next, which is my vintage Pyrex, I got a different measurement, and I trust the vintage Pyrex. So all that aside, what goes into this bread? And this says, this loaf with all white flour rises so dramatically that one set of properties works best in either size machine. So we're just going to use the standard recipe. And so it starts out with 1/2 cup milk. Now, I don't have any milk, so I used almond milk. You can reconstitute powdered milk. You can use evaporated milk. I don't find that the type of milk affects the bread that much as the liquid quantity. Okay, next is 3 large eggs. My girls just lay eggs. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about the large part, but you know, I I'd say they're in range of large. So I do pre-crack my eggs. And y'all may be wondering, why are you saving your eggshell? Well, they're good for so many different things, but I actually feed them back to the girls for their grit and calcium. So yeah, let's do all 3 of these. So I have to wash them. And then I learned the hard way, I refrigerate the shells in case I don't have all the egg smell out, because rotten eggs smell rotten. So today is Friday. Throw some on the floor, and we are getting rain all day again today, y'all. But then I looked at the futurecast and it's like, oh no, that would be your rain allotment for like the next rest of the summer, right? Okay, so 3 eggs, and then 2 tablespoons of, it says unsalted butter. Y'all, I don't mess with that. I don't always measure it either, but I'm gonna grab, oh, this is unsalted butter. What do you know? I'm following the recipe. So let me grab a couple tablespoons of the butter. Good. All right. Next up. So that's what will go in the bottom of your machine. And again, the Zojirushi preheats all the ingredients, so I didn't have to preheat anything. Next, we're going to go to our bread flour. So I'm getting to the point where I have used up a lot of my bread flour and will be doing more grinding. You know, I'm so busy in the summer that winter is a better time to do more labor-intensive cooking. However, my bread flour was older, so all right, 3 cups. So I am just leveling this off with the back of a knife. And again, I didn't break up the yolks or anything. I'm just putting it in there. Let the machine be the work beast, because I still have a lot of work to do. Oh, guys, have you ever noticed if you like fix something or spiff up something, how everything else you're just like, yeah. That paint made the drapes look bad. Those new drapes made the curtains, or made the carpet look bad. Yeah, that'd be me. Alrighty, so we've got our 3 cups of bread flour. It just calls for 1 tablespoon of sugar. That is probably to enhance rising as well as for color. So we'll add that in. Oops, just lost my place. See what I mean, guys? Okay, there you go. And we need a tablespoon of gluten. So again, this is Vital Wheat gluten. You know, guys, I also wanted to say something else about bread. I am not gluten intolerant. Plain simple, I am not. However, when I eat a real big gluten load like pastas, like a bread sandwich, you know, things like that, if it is processed, I don't do as well with it. So I think a lot of the gluten intolerance isn't gluten intolerance at all, it's processed food intolerance. And I probably said that before in my video, just felt kind of convicted to share that. All right, next is 2 teaspoons of poppy seeds. So I have the non-GMO Azure poppy seeds. Oh, and somebody said the other day, because y'all, I did not realize this either. I know that organic sugar is quite expensive. And there's a difference between organic and non-GMO. Well, someone commented about, and certainly no offense to anyone, about buying non-GMO sugar versus Walmart's pure cane sugar. And just so y'all know, all cane sugar is non-GMO, only beet sugar is GMO. I didn't know it either till I looked it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little generous on the poppy seeds. I'm just gonna go crazy. I'm gonna put a tablespoon, which is 3 teaspoons. Okay, next is a 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So that is half of a tablespoon. Design flaw sometimes, guys. I don't know if I can get that out of there without spilling it everywhere. Why is that hanging up? Come on. You got this. Okay, good. And I'm going to put my salt at either end of the bread pan, just so it doesn't interfere, so to speak, with the yeast. Sorry. I told you I'm having one of those days. Okay. So, out of the freezer, I'm going to use my 1.5 teaspoons of SAF yeast. You know what? Just in case. And I usually put my yeast right in the middle so that it stays away from the salt. But check your manufacturer's directions and see what it says to do. Sometimes salt can deactivate or lessen the effect of yeast. Guys, how simple was that? I have, you know, a couple measuring cups to wash, but that's it. Let me bring you around here to the other side. I'm getting used to my new arrangement, y'all, but I do have to say I love the turquoise blue. It's more blue than turquoise, but I love it. And give you a sneak peek here. It's kind of hard to see with the light on. See all these? I have all my vintage coffee makers now in my soffit. Or not coffee makers, coffee pots. And it really pops against the blue. So when I first started putting it on the wall, I had a bit of a panic. And I had to, Marco, my dear friend Peggy over at Crazy for Retro, y'all check out their channel. I'm telling you, they will make you want to go thrift store shopping so bad. Anyway, I had to put in like a emergency call. I had to use one of my lifelines. Peggy, does this look awful? And she was so encouraging, but yet so honest with me. So what I didn't realize, it went on very, very light. When it started to dry, it's not nearly as light as what it was, because it was like clown blue when you put it on the wall. Okay, so let me bring you around. Hold tight. All right, this is what the machine looks like with pan inserted. I'm going to shut the lid. On the front here, it tells you all the different courses that you can use. So this says use a basic or white. So here's your course button here, and it's course number 1. Crust control, I like actually medium, so we'll set it to medium. Push start, and it will tell you this will finish up at 10:54. I'm not sure how well y'all can see that. So I'm gonna get busy working on a couple things on my not remodel, facelift, and let that bread bake, and I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like when it's all done, and we'll do a taste test. Stay tuned. While we wait on our bread to rise and cook and do all the things, I thought I would give you just a quick sneak peek of the kitchen, and then a long anticipated notification came through. I need to go pick up 40 pounds of tomatoes from my cousin's cousin. And I wanted to kind of share some information with you about what they're seeing. I'll see if they want to be on video. Most people don't. And if not, I'll just get the information and I'll share it with you when I return. But I thought I would share some of the things that I'm doing to try to give my kitchen a facelift and freshen it up a little bit. So this is the lighter blue of the two, and y'all, I'm sorry, it's a beautiful, like an aqua blue. It's super pretty, and it doesn't show up in the camera, you know, whatever. So over here, is my new coffee station. I'm sorry, my coffee station's new location. It was always back in the corner. And I had canisters here. So some of the things that, even though this is a very modern coffee maker, I have this gorgeous, thank you Peggy and Norm, bean or coffee canister. Just a vintage strawberry. Back behind there is my strawberry cookie jar. And then this super cool mid-century modern coffee pot. Look at that, guys, with the little starbursts on it. So pretty. One thing I did learn is I still wanted my pro-caffeinating sign. Anything light, white, bright against the background is good. So my colors, basically, guys, I know it sounds gross, are like a Pyrex blue, even though it's called bicycle blue, and red and strawberries. So on over, I did switch up a few things here. You'll notice there are no curtains. I'm going to keep that for a surprise. I have some beautiful fabric that is going to just tie all this together. So I'm going to make a curtain. Unfortunately, over here, boy, I'm bad at this. You'll see a letter holder and a key holder. I don't have anything on it yet because I'm going to be in and out of the window with the curtains. The people who had this house built drove a ginormous screw into these solid hickory cabinets. So it does need to be covered up with something. So I just hung that there for now. We'll see if it stays. Over here, instead of all the things that I had, I've pared it down to just hand cream, hand soap, and dish soap. And I put it on a really, really cool mid-century modern trivet. Is that not the coolest, groovy? And I like a variety, guys. It doesn't have to be pure 50s for me to like it. On over, oh, hang on. Y'all, I need a new ring light because it'll just start going. I put my strawberry canisters here in the corner. This is actually vintage chalkware strawberries. I don't love the eggs there, but the reality is it's practical for me. So for now, that's where they're gonna stay. And several of you have asked, so I'm gonna tell you, why are your eggs not in the refrigerator? Well, when a chicken lays an egg, they put on it what's called a bloom. So it's like their own special protective coating to keep the eggs fresh. As long as you don't wash the eggs, you can leave them at room temperature. Hi, Frankie. Sorry, see all the cat hair. And I just vacuumed the whole downstairs. As long as you don't wash them, they remain fresh for up to 2 weeks. So that keeps me from packing up my refrigerator with eggs until I'm ready to do another freeze-dry load. Here, I've placed some of my favorite vintage cookbooks. For the practical things, salt, pepper, in a 1950s tree tray. My butter's back here. On the stove, I'm trying to keep it streamlined up top. And yeah, y'all, my stove's not dirty. It's literally scratched. And I'll tell y'all something. I had to pull, of course, the fridge out, the stove out. I have some rust right here on the stove, which I have no idea why I would. And unfortunately, this does not release and lift up. So I can't see the extent. So probably one of these days, it's just gonna like go. You can wait just a moment, sassy pants. Sorry, guys. And now you're gonna hear water running in the background so Frankie can have his drink. So I'm not gonna replace it until I absolutely have to, but that's the situation here. I've got a 50s teapot that matches my walls just perfectly. A Georges Berard coffee. It's actually a percolator. It does work. It has all the guts to it. It's an amazing shape. And this is the corn and fish. He has several different patterns, so I really like that. I debated really long and hard about my air fryer slash little mini oven. But guys, I use this constantly. So to remove it would be a huge inconvenience. I thought, oh, I could put it on one of my pantry shelves. Yeah, so I could pack it around, and I use it a lot in the winter. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. It does take up quite a bit of space, but it still works. All right, over here is not all that different. Let me see if I can show you better this way. Yeah. So this is where my little, oh, I need a new ring light, guys. There we go. The cart sat here. I haven't fully decided what I'm gonna do. Frankie's food was against the refrigerator. Now it's in the corner. The funny thing was I had it in a different place for a couple days while I was painting, and he would go sit over there like, hey, mom, I need some kitty bites. So he's doing okay with it there. I did put my wreath back up because, and excuse the ladder, guys. It actually matches really well and looks really pretty. It's kind of springy, but I'm gonna leave it there until fall decor. Right now, oh, here goes my ring light. I have my cart here, and I could leave it there, or I could put it under the counter. The problem is the decorative things won't show. I'm not sure that's the best place for it. Haven't decided. So, yeah, I still have like a lot of the decor and such to do. But the big mess of the painting. Oh, and on the fridge, guys, see my, I have drinking glasses in a metal carrier. And then, y'all, I have to show you this. So this was like an unnecessary buy, but I had to have it. We had these glasses growing up in the picture. And I found a complete set that's in excellent shape with the picture. And it looks super green, and it's not that green. At an antique store, and I kept looking and looking and looking, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pay that much. And I happened to run into one of the employees, and he was like, are you interested in that? And I'm like, not for that price. Why don't you say what you're really thinking, Kim? So anyway, he was like, oh, I know the guy, he's dreaming, let me call him. So I got a humongous discount because he wanted to move it. So yeah, so I've got all the little touches. Did you get your drink, Frankie? Up here, I have all of my vintage coffee carafes. Oops. Y'all, there's just no easy way to do this. So they go all the way around. So for now, I'm like, okay, I can live with this. And sometimes you have to like live with it for a few days and see, okay, does this make sense? Is this the way I really want it? I still have a few things I have not found a place for. But I really would like my counters, I always call them cabinets, more streamlined, more user-friendly. I do a lot of cooking, y'all, a lot of kitchen projects. And even though my kitchen is small, I need it to function for me, and it does pretty well, but I'm always in the mood for more counter space. So right now, the big return, I guess you would call it, that's all counter space. I'm going to try to leave it empty. We'll see how long that lasts. That's always my catch-all. When you come in, you just dump everything there, right? All right. So let's see, what time is it? It's now 9 o'clock. I'm going to get down the road. Let's see if we can get some information about what's going on with farmers and produce for the 2022 season. Stay tuned. Well, our beautiful poppy seed bread is finished. Really came out beautifully. Let's give it a quick taste. Very light. Rich. Very good. And a good way to use up some eggs. So my lunch today is going to be a beautiful tomato with some bread. Actually, a tomato sandwich. I had to, pardon my chewing, had to run some errands and wanted to share with you the information I got from my cousin's cousin, who I talk about all the time. So last year, the auction produce was super pricey. Definitely was a different year. Definite big increase from 2020 to 2021. This year, they said the Amish seem unaffected. And while that makes sense that, you know, they're not driving cars, they often use animal power instead of diesel for their tractors, etc. They grow and produce and are self-sufficient in many ways. I'm sure that cost of seed, fertilizer, etc. is still impacting their produce. But one of the reasons I like to get up and at them every day is I now have, guys, this is less than half of it. I have 40 pounds of canning tomatoes, which the only difference between a canning tomato and a slicing tomato is the appearance. So canning tomato may have, you know, some imperfections, and because they grow primarily organic produce, they're not the big, beautiful supermarket looking tomatoes, but oh, the flavor, guys, is amazing, amazing. Hello, Frankie. He's still trying to figure out this whole, like, why is the kitchen blue, Mom? And then I took a quick stop at the library, got a couple books to peruse. One about fall and Halloween decorating, because I know that it's only July, y'all, but it's coming, and that's my favorite time of the year for decorating. So drop me a comment below. What are you seeing produce price wise in your local areas? If you're utilizing like a farmer's market, are the prices up, down? I can tell you the farmer's market that I utilize, which is Piper's, is way up, and this is a great option. I am growing primarily Romas and just one plant each, yellow and red, for eating. So I will have a lot of Romas to process into sauce, into tomato paste, whatsoever I want to process them into. So this is more for soups and stews and chilies and that kind of thing. Always good to have tomatoes on the shelf. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and smash that like button. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed, to hit that subscribe button. You know, the one over here. Ring the bell for all the new notifications. Share if you know someone who would like to know how to make some poppy seed bread, very simply. All right, I will plan on seeing you all on Tuesday. I have so much to do, but I'm going to keep persevering. I'm about to bean harvest, so we might be into a canning extravaganza before too long. So as always, until I see you again, be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.